Son, where'd you find this?
Don't be offended by the truth. They be offended because you called out the truth. Simple as that. They don't want to hear any other narrative that makes them look bad.
One thing I can't stand at this big grown age is somebody who acts like cause and effect does not exist. Like, yes, your actions caused this outcome. Yes, what you did lit the match. Like, why are you surprised and playing victim?
Guys, Chico. They never lie.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll.
The flow insane, take my spot, so the range, shoot my shot with perfect aim, 3rd degree, that perfect flame, ain't no sleep, that's the game, oh so southern, that's the slang, when they see me, that's the main, chasing checks and fly like planes, big old stick, I bought a cane, flick my wrist and bought the ring, I'm so boss, we're not the same, paid the cost and kept the change, now I'm walking Hall of Fame, and I reside in the cloud, grand wishes, with these bitches, taking pictures with the crowd, and I'm out.
What's up, YouTube? Happy Monday. Peace, blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. I hope all is well with each and every single one of you. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I hope you started your week off exactly the way that you wanted to. Cindy 6480, I appreciate you for pulling up. I hope all is well with you. Shout outs to my poets, my writers, my content creators, so on and so forth. You see the title. I got a clip I want to play for y'all. I got Rob in the building. I got Brandon in the building. I'm waiting on Sydney to pull up. Hopefully everything is okay. Do me a solid, make sure you go support these brothers that I'm about to bring up on the big screen. I'm gonna bring them up now, let them introduce themselves and whatnot. And yeah, we're gonna get the show started. Yo, what up?
Yo.
What's the word?
What's good? Happy Monday.
It is Monday. Damn.
Yeah. We here. How everybody doing? How was y'all weekend?
Oh man, chilly.
Yeah, I'm good. My weekend was good though. Eventful, you know.
Okay.
What about you?
Right here. I've been right here, bro. This. I'm like Aquaman.
Hey, you swim?
A little bit, bro. A little bit. Don't put me on a cruise ship and you expect me to dive over. I'm not doing that, but
nah, for real. You're like, dang.
Is that really a thing though? Is that really
What?
that black people don't swim or they scared of water? Is that like really a thing?
I can't swim. I ain't scared of water though. I can't swim.
Yeah, like to be
I definitely can't swim.
word.
See, we 0-3 right now.
Hey, I might have to give me some lessons, man, because
Hey, that's on my bucket list.
I can float.
hey, that's better than nothing.
I can float. I can float
That's
like.
that's definitely on my bucket list, y'all. I'm driving through the backwoods of Georgia, so if I go in and out, it's because I'm in the woods.
All right. Best,
Don't
best.
don't don't make no wrong turns. You know,
Right.
you know how that go.
Right now, I ain't tripping. I ain't even speeding no more.
Well, look, man, I'm gonna bring this clip up. I wish Sydney was here. I don't know what happened, man. This was one of her pride and joys,
Mm.
but I'm gonna bring it up on the big screen. Ballerina Farms, man. I heard about it. I never really invested too much into it until the last year or so. So this clip is like a quick little recap of who she is and what it's about. And we're gonna unpack this, man, best as possible.
All right.
TikTok's most notorious and controversial trad wife. But then her life took a very Mormon turn. Hannah started dating a Mormon man named Daniel, and just a few months later, they got married. And a few months after that, she was pregnant. Daniel comes from an extremely rich family, and his dad is estimated to be worth about $400 million, and he's founded multiple airlines. Here's a video of Hannah doing ballet while pregnant at Juilliard, and not long after this, they left New York, and she traded her primary identity as Ballerina for the new identity of wife and mother, as children, and about 300 acres. They've also acquired many scandals, whether it's the egg apron, the raw milk, the beauty pageants. Many accuse them because even though her content shows what looks like a relatively simple life, they actually have a lot of employees working behind the scenes for marketing, for the farm, and for their production. It is honestly hard to believe that the outfits that she's regularly photographed in are outfits you could reasonably wear while doing farm work. I think it culturally represents at a higher level. It might seem easy to yearn for a simpler time when these are the aesthetics, but the reality is that in that simpler time, women had far fewer rights and men held all the power. When I watch Ballerina Farm content, all I can think of is all that glitters is not gold. This is TikTok's most notorious.
Sydney, good evening. I don't know if you can hear me, but Brandon, Sydney, Brandon, Rob, Brandon, Rob. I didn't formally introduce everybody. My apologies. She brought this to my attention. And I wanted to actually give her the lead on this because I watched another video that she sent to me. I couldn't use the one that she sent and play it here for YouTube copyright reasons, but I think that there's a direction that you wanted to take or an approach that you wanted to take. So I don't want to pivot away from that. So I'm glad you pulled up. I hope your weekend was good and all that. I will let you take the lead on this one. and we'll just go from there.
All right. First of all, hello, I'm Sydney, for anybody watching that's new and doesn't know me. I picked this topic. I've been following the story for at least a year. I started watching her, or I found her because I watch like homemaker content and stuff like that. And as I started to watch, and also started to watch other YouTubers talking about her, I really became aware of the controversy surrounding her, and I just find it fascinating. There's a lot to it, and so I definitely, that's why I brought in the topic, because I think it would be really interesting to talk about. So a little background of what I know. So she's a homemaker content creator. She does a lot of stuff on cooking and how she maintains the household and stuff like that. But she has a history. I'm sure if you heard from the video, she was originally a ballerina headed to Juilliard, but she met her husband, and from what I've heard, he was very, very persistent and basically convinced her to marry him. The perspective that I heard from him was that he saw her and he had to have her. And so within 3 months of them dating, he convinced her to marry him and swooped her off to some giant acred farm out in, I forgot which, I think Utah. I forgot which state, but definitely one of the more like prairie-like states. Her husband is the heir to, I believe, Delta Airlines. His parents own that whole company. So he is quite rich. And she basically, she's been married to him, and she's now on, I believe, their 7th or 8th kid. I know right now she's pregnant with their next child. Part of the reason why there's a couple reasons why there's controversy surrounding her. One, on her page, she portrays herself to be this like down to earth, like I make all the food for my children from scratch, all natural family. But a lot of people are saying, like, I bet you have a team. Like behind the scenes, you probably have a maid, you probably have a cook, you probably have all of these services that you can afford to pay for, even though you're showing yourself to be this wholesome person. A lot of people don't believe that facade. Additionally, a lot of people have problems with her relationship with her husband, and there's been allegations of, I've heard some people take it as far as abuse, but I see a lot more people just saying, like, how dare he remove her from her life? Like, he swept her away from the life that she wanted. He convinced her to be in this relationship that people are still debating if it was real or if it was a clickbait video. But for her birthday, like last year, she asked for a trip to Greece, and he gave her an egg apron instead in lieu of tickets to Greece. And everyone was up in arms because it's like, you're so wealthy. Your parents own airlines, and you got her an egg apron, which basically signifies work, housework. Additionally, more recently, there's been a lot of issues with her because she sells all natural food products. They have a farm, chickens, cows, whatever. And she's been selling raw milk. And raw milk is not healthy. A lot of people say it is because, you have all of the natural whatevers. And I promise you, it's not safe. You have to pasteurize milk because it removes the bacteria. You're highly likely to get sick if you consume raw milk. And she has been promoting it, saying that it's a healthy thing, and you know how those trends are. But she a bunch of people did get sick buying that milk from her. And when they asked her about it, she basically said it was the people's fault because they didn't drink it correctly or didn't take care of it or whatever. So yeah, so a number of conspiracies flying around her, her choices, her family, and then of course you also have that crowd that's bothered by the fact that she's become like a baby maker. So lots to talk about.
I'll start. I'll say this, and then I give it to you, bro. I'm not against traditional marriages, relationships, as long as both parties that are involved are on the same page as far as it, right? Like you've had these conversations during your courting phase, you asking these questions, and then you make the decision if this is something that you're willing to uproot your life for. Because to you and the other person is not really you taking away from anything. You're actually going to be adding on to it. If that's what you want to do, cool. Now, if it's how you describe alleged that he's using his influence and his money to kind of egg her into doing this, that's something completely different. I'm not with forcing anybody to just change everything about them to fit into my own existence. As far as the milk thing and all that, look, man, there's so much food and so much processed stuff out here right now that we eat alone that ain't going to stop people from eating it. But I don't even drink milk without you. So to even get me to mess around with something off brand just because you make it and I don't, I don't care if Michael Jordan came out with some brand new breakfast food. I'm not eating it. I'm very picky with my food. So I don't know. I use the mic. Just my initial thoughts.
Oh, on me?
Yeah, you got it.
It's actually crazy because it's actually a cult following for like natural milk. And I think it's like in the states of like Iowa and Utah. So when you brought that up, it reminded me like of over that area. And I was like both parties happy. Also, to get back on subject, if both parties happy, then it is what it is. But it's a lot of people also just like her and just like him, and situations are the same.
Why do you think so many folks have an issue with the traditional roles in a household? That's because that's what this kind of feels like we're going. I mean, that direction of the conversation. I could be wrong, but it sounds like the people are pissed off because they feel as if she had a promising career. He threw his money at her. She didn't want to get rid of what she was doing, but she did it for him. Did everything according to his program, and she's miserable, but she's pretending to be happy. That's the impression that I'm getting. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I am.
I don't know. I don't feel like she's happy. I don't feel like. Also, I don't feel like this is a traditional wedding. I mean, traditional marriage. I feel like she could do so much better with a lot of stuff, and she deserves so much better. I feel like he's downplaying on a lot of her situations, a lot of her dreams, also, and he's just trying to big himself up and make himself look good. But a lot of people don't like it, and I agree with them people. That's just me.
It's so then why would you even sign up for that then if you don't you're going to be miserable? Why even? I'm really asking because it's like, all right, he has to have money, he has to be in shape, he has to have all of these different elements to be a credible potential partner. He has to be able to secure everything. But in turn, what I keep seeing is people aren't, they're still not happy either way. And if what you're saying is true and she's really miserable, then this theory that people have about dating someone that makes as much as you or more, that's just BS.
That is something that people have pointed out in her videos. There's one creator that covered her, and she kept pointing out in her videos, you can see on her face that a lot of people speculate that she's not happy. Especially that egg apron video. Like she was like, "Oh wow, what'd you get me?" And it was like a small little box. And then as soon as she pulled out the egg apron, it was like, "Wow, thanks." So yeah, you can definitely see it on her face in some of the videos. If you watch it and her interactions with her husband, um, it is suspect how she behaves, what emotion she's showing on her face. Also, I don't know if this is just because obviously she's making the videos at certain times, and obviously most creators aren't going to be showing their life in real time. But a lot of people comment how they really never see her husband at all interacting with the kids. It's mostly her taking care of the kids and doing stuff with them and doing all the housework and stuff like that. But again, this easily could be a clickbait type situation too, where she knows that this is happening, and she's or like uh, they do this because that controversy kind of gets them the attention. I know there's several social media influencers that are kind of notorious for putting out videos that people are like, "Are you being real with us? Or are you like making this up just for the views?" So I just from what I've watched, I really wonder if she's actually happy in this relationship. I know what it's like to have to give up something that you really want to do. Obviously, mine wasn't because my husband told me to. Mine was because of an injury, but I I know how that feels, and I do genuinely wonder how much that sits in her mind, because to be accepted into Juilliard is a big deal.
Yeah.
They don't just let anybody in. So the fact that she was on her way to Juilliard, and he basically swept her off her feet and she was no longer going to do that anymore, I think is a bit peculiar, especially from the husband's perspective. Like if I got accepted into Juilliard, my husband would be like, "We're going to do whatever we can to make sure that you can make this work." Like when I wanted to go for my master's, like he was working with me to make sure that I was able to complete it and do what I needed to do. But for him to be like, "But I had to have you," and then move in and like take her away from that life, because if I remember correctly, I think he was the one that convinced her to leave.
Mm.
So I yeah, I definitely maybe she's accepted that life, but I also question the husband himself as well. Like, does he actually care about her, or is he just blinded by the fact that, oh, she's this beautiful woman and an athlete, whatever, and he just sees her basically as a trophy wife?
I don't know how much that you heard, Rob, but um, if you got any thoughts on it, you got the floor. I'll just add that.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Y'all good? Okay,
Yeah,
before I cut out, because I'm in the woods. It sounds from they stayed together. Pretty much. So I'm thinking at the same time, if they had to have a good fallout because she had 8 kids, and that much bag. Once you have one, you straight for the rest of your life, even if he's not in your life. So you went and had 8. They must have been having fun for a while. That's what they do. Everything on social media and all this, the streams and all of that, we already know that's fake. You know what I mean? But he got what he wanted because he had the bag, and she got what she wanted.
yeah. Like, why would you have all them children with somebody if you didn't want to be there? Unless you just
Right.
were more concerned about making sure that you were financially protected more than actually in something that you actually wanted out of what love, respect, honor. There's lots of people who sacrifice their bodies just for monetary gain. I don't agree with it, but like you would be surprised. It's scary. It's scary to believe that people do it, but the way the economy is, and then think about it. You might have a certain type of lifestyle that you're trying to maintain too.
That's true.
Now, you tell me I got an opportunity to go to a school that is hard to get in, and I can pursue my dream. It's my dream. My dream. All right, I got a question. Your dream job versus your future husband or wife, or your partner. Do you sacrifice the relationship for the dream, or do you take the relationship and leave that and put it on the back burner?
I'm taking a dream. Forget that.
Bang, bang.
Because I feel like you're gonna be miserable. And once you think about it over and over and over, you're like, why did I do this? Then when you get a divorce, it's like I should have just went with my dream. At least I would have been the solid variable.
I've been looking up some stuff just to remind myself of some of the conspiracy stuff. One thing that I remember is somebody pointed out that her whole house is like that minimalist white aesthetic where like everything's all boxy and clean and no character. But there is a single picture of a ballerina on the wall in her house, and people keep saying like that is the saddest thing I've ever seen because that's like the only thing that she has left of that life that she loved. Another thing that I forgot, she turned him down multiple times when they first met. She was not interested in being with him, but so he's JetBlue, not Delta, but his dad is the founder of JetBlue. He booked a ticket on the same flight with her and made sure that their seats were next to each other. And that is when she decided to start dating him. I'm like, that is pretty manipulative. Not gonna lie.
Kind of creepy
But
too.
that don't sound like nothing that ain't normal. I'm with the homie with the dream, because you can't be happy with nobody unless you're happy with yourself first, and then you got to see your goals through, at least most of them, before you can settle with somebody else, because then you be resentful. But that don't sound like he romanced her. Why did I put her front row? You know what I'm saying? And say, yo, I could give you all of this. You don't have to struggle no more. Again, 8 kids in. I don't think you hate nobody you have 8 kids with. Maybe not till after, but damn. Unless you just a slave, you know what I'm saying? Unless she was like his slave. And I don't know how the Mormon culture is. I know it's a lot of, male oriented. whatever. But you know, you will cut that off after a while, because like you said, Deep, even now it's 2026. People not even doing that no more. You know what I'm saying? Unless we going back to back in the days. So it had to be some kind of spark there, and she got security because you know with being a ballerina, it appears once you get a certain age, it's about a wrap. It's almost harder as rapping. But your body is out of pocket, you can't keep up no more. So, you know, it seems like it had to be something there, but I never seen nothing on video. If you worth $400 million, you can't fake that. I do know that.
The dream all day. I'm taking my dream. I'm taking my purpose. Period. Maybe if I was younger and I ain't know no better, that would be enticing. But once you realize that this right here could create something bigger than what you ever expected, you definitely going to pursue your dream. Period. People come and go, relationships come and go, friendships come and go every single day, even the ones where they lasted 10, 15 years. If someone is meant to be there regardless. They're not going to make you pick you over the other thing. It's going to be, I support you all the way. Like, why would I put you in a position to choose between me and this? Like, this is something that you've been wanting for your entire life. That's crazy. She can't.
Plus,
You
money
telling me?
don't make you happy. Money makes some people miserable. You can have so much money. They say the poorest person in the world only has money.
Yeah, there are some folks that don't. I would rather be spiritually wealthy than to be physically wealthy. I know that sounds like BS, but when you consider everything that is going on out here, the way people are crashing out, you see what happened with Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion. Um, yeah, it's bad. And now we're talking about her, which it brings it back to me. Money, just the way it's being utilized is extremely irresponsible. I'll say that. If I got to use my wealth to get you to put the ring on your finger, it's probably not the best way to go about it. I'm not about to, like, I don't even, the way that you just read that, it didn't sound romantic. You say he bought a ticket to sit next to her and all that. That don't sound like, it just sounds like you forcing yourself on this person by flexing. That might get some people's attention, but if you got any real character, you're not just going to fall for that. You're going to have to do a little bit more.
Mm.
And then if the woman liked you anyway, it wouldn't have mattered if you had money or not. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I agree. I don't know. I feel like he wants some dominant type stuff. That's all I feel.
Yeah, she say what? The house is a minimalist type of vibe. So you telling me it's just basically an empty place with maybe a few chairs and tables, and like when you talk, you can hear the echo. That's how quiet it is in there.
Not like it's not.
Yeah, that part too. Yeah.
And then I feel like also
But
social media.
y'all heard what Big said? Big said more money, more problems.
That's true. And then I feel like social media is like her escape. So she posts over and over and comments. That's her friendships right there.
I can see that. because you don't have a life outside of your house.
Mm-hmm.
For everybody who,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I got you. I was just gonna say, for everybody who say they want a wealthy man, he's probably not going to be home most of the time
Yes.
because he got to work. So, where are your friends at? Do you have any? Do she have family? Who can she really connect with when he's away and she's got to fend for herself and she's watching all of these kids? Like, I can see that happening. You got to see it.
So they did an interview, both her and her husband. And here's some of the pieces about their early relationship that I was kind of talking about. So Daniel, the husband, grew up in a Mormon family of 9. He was one of 9. And his dad was the billionaire founder of a number of commercial airlines, including JetBlue.
Mm.
He said he wanted Hannah, his Neil, one we're talking about, to be more at home with the kids. And she said, I watched my parents working together, so whatever we do, we have to do it together. They met when he was 23 and she was 21. They were introduced by a mutual friend at a college basketball game. And this is what he said. I saw her and I was ready to go. Sign me up is what I was thinking. Let's get married. But she wouldn't go on a date with me for 6 months. And then she said one day she mentioned to Daniel that she was getting the 5-hour flight from Salt Lake City to New York back to Juilliard. She didn't realize his dad owned the airline. So Daniel was like, I'm on that same flight. She says, I remember checking in and them saying, you're 5A and you're 5B. I just thought, no way, that's crazy. Daniel smiles. I made a call. He had pulled strings at JetBlue, and so began their first date. Back then, I thought we should date for a year before marriage, she continues. So if I could finish school or whatever. And Daniel was like, it's not going to work. We've got to get married now. After a month, they were engaged. 2 months after that, they were married, moving into an apartment Daniel rented on the Upper West Side. 3 months after that, she was pregnant, and the first Juilliard undergraduate to be expecting in modern history. He ended up getting a job at his father's security company, and moved their family to Brazil, where she had 3 more kids, or 2 more kids. So she had 3 under 4. And she was still dancing professionally at that time, but then they eventually settled in Utah. She then gave up dance. She said, well, I gave up dance, which was hard. You give up a piece of yourself. And Daniel gave up his career ambitions. She also said the only space earmarked to be Nealman's own, a small barn she wanted to convert into a ballet studio, which ended up becoming the kids' schoolroom.
Like a psycho. I feel like he's a psycho with money because everything was strategic and crazy. Like the impulse.
That's exactly what
Well,
I heard too.
he said I could put you in first class up in the sky. Yeah, he had the bag. He had the bag. He got up, you know. At least she still danced. She still danced for a while. So she tried.
Yeah, Brazil to Utah is crazy though too. That's a big
Oh
jump.
yeah.
Yeah.
She also had all her kids without pain medication, except the one birth that her husband wasn't present for. She got paid
Mm.
for that one.
So he told her not to take it, basically. But
Yikes.
so he's in control of everything. Yep.
Yeah, that's what it.
But it's
Yeah.
a lot of people like this though. A lot of people like this.
Yeah.
Old school.
You think they faithful though?
Him,
I
no.
mean,
Probably not.
And
She probably is. She
yeah, she
probably
probably is.
does.
He probably got cameras around the house. Yeah,
I
cameras
would
everywhere.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, that don't matter. That cameras and all that, you can spy all day.
Yeah, that ain't it. I don't know why people think
It might
that's
be though. Might be because if you also them old school children, they didn't do all that. They didn't believe in all that. And it ain't if she's like, man, I got my kids out of it. And she get in the bag too. She done turned into a whole nother star. She's successful. We talking about her. I never heard about her until today. So now she got a whole career.
I think the last time I spoke of or we spoke about anything remotely close to this, it was like a year ago. So when I think one of the husbands of somebody was going broke or like their father was in debt or something. You remember that? The father was in debt for something and he inherited it and he had a hard time trying to pay it off and the wife was trying to pretend like everything was cool. It wasn't this, but it was like they had similar stories or something like that. I can't remember her name. I, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can see why people would be upset with that or feel like he forced her. I don't think he put a gun to her head though.
She probably got turned on in the beginning about all like how everything was moving. She's like, okay, you know what he wants. She got the money. Boom.
Yeah, let me weigh my options.
Mm.
Uh, that might take me a little bit longer, but he's right here. It's like me being at the gas station trying to decide if I want to buy the cigarettes or I want to take this last $10 and put it on my gas tank.
5 and 5, baby.
Ain't no pack of cigarettes $5 these days. Unless you about to buy
I'm saying
one
you gotta
single.
think about the people. Think about the people probably in her ear too. Like, man, who not going for the? If it was me, I would. Blah, 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 blah. If it was me, you better get with him. They do that all the time too.
Yeah, some people's circles be toxic as hell, man. Like they'll literally talk you off a cliff if you let them.
Definitely.
I would rather you tell me the brutal truth than be a yes man or a girl's girl. I, y'all need to stop that stuff, man. Especially if that's like really your don't set them up for failure.
Do you think they failed though?
In my I think if you looking at it from a financial state, no. I mean,
Right.
she got the house and the kids and all that good stuff, but like, is that really who she wanted to marry? You can have everything in the world, but be laying next to somebody that you don't even like for real. Would you do it, Brandon? Would you marry somebody that you don't like just so that you could be taken care of for the rest of your life?
I want to date somebody I don't like. I was like, hey, you good? Like a lot of people wait for red flags. The flag could be yellow. I'm gone.
I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I've had experiences with people that were persistent and that thought, oh, if I just keep coming at you, you'll be interested in dating. And I promise you, the more you come at me, the less interested I am. more
annoying.
persistent you are, the more I'm like uncomfortable with your presence. And I see you coming, I'm like, oh no, no more of this. I had 2 friends in my past that I ended up cutting off because they were supremely interested in dating me and I was not interested. I made it very clear that I was not interested. And then they threw shade and got upset with me when I dated somebody else, saying, well, you knew that I liked you. And like, I was not interested and I will not be interested. And the more you try and make me interested, the less interested I'll be. And I just think of that. I'm like, how creepy is that? That you like, if I was like being enticed to date somebody and then they chose to get a seat next to me on the airplane, and especially if I found out that it was through like pulling strings, I would be uncomfortable that entire flight. I'd have headphones in, the book out, like I would be ignoring you the whole flight. I would not be interested in talking to you. I don't understand how that went anywhere.
But you gotta take into account. You got to take into account their upbringing too. Now, if she went to Juilliard, unless she was like the best dancer in the world, she probably had a little bread too. And you know, we look at the history of it. People with rich families marry into rich families so they could keep it in the family. So they got a totally different upbringing. Then they'll stay miserable. And in order for the family to be taken care of, that ain't nothing to them.
I can't do it. Sorry. Yeah, that's too much. Just to force yourself to procreate with somebody like that. Those arranged marriages and I never got it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. That's why I don't even believe in celebrity relationships and marriages. I think all of them are just for networking and advancing each other's careers and fan bases and stuff like that. I don't think these people really actually care about each other like that at all. But it works. So why break a system, even though it really don't work? But you got that string of income consistently coming in. So I guess that outweighs all the bad.
Yeah, and some people do date for money and date for opportunities. Like you ever see somebody that look good who dates somebody ugly? You be like, what you doing?
But
So like,
with the zoom in too.
but
But
it's like,
go ahead.
no, it's like, what are you doing? Like, it's a reason behind you why you with this person. We don't know why, but it's a reason. We don't know why.
It could be for safety reasons because you feel like that unattractive person ain't gonna have the confidence to step out on you and you can do whatever you want with them, or it could just be that they're just better human beings. Because like it seems like the more the attractive the person is, the more crap their spirit is.
Mm-hmm.
Because you used to everybody being in your face.
Hey, Craig Mack was ugly. He was married. Big had faith. They might make you feel good, you know? They be smooth.
She'll have Heidi. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You know?
Does she marry this guy and he didn't have, if he didn't have this money, would she have still went on to Juilliard? Would she have just, so what I'm saying is if he didn't have the status that he had, would she have stayed with him or left him alone and pursued her dream regardless?
She would pursue her dream because he wouldn't have no money to get on that plane. He wouldn't be. He wouldn't be around. He'd probably be at the airport gate, and that's it. Can't even get in.
Yeah. I might have to agree with that too. Then it's sad because y'all end up having kids with all these people, and then you don't even end up with them later on in life. 2-3 years, give it for some people, and you're gonna see them on social media having breakouts and crash outs, and this person cheated with this person, that person cheated with that person, he slept with 20 women or whatever, and it's like, yeah, here we go again. It's the same story.
Her husband also doesn't believe in divorce. He's been trying to convince his own parents to get back together, even though they got divorced like 12 years ago.
It's jail. That's all it is. He's in prison.
You would break news, bro. I guess he don't believe in divorce.
Yes, that's what it sounds like too.
So
I wanted to sign a contract that she couldn't get out of.
He also said that he thinks it's the woman's duty to stay at home with the children. He says the women's responsibilities are to beautify, where the men's job is to hold things together or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Did she go outside? Did she go outside at all? Okay, she got outside.
That was on their farm.
Oh, okay.
120-acre farm. They have cows and chickens and stuff like that. So she's always like filming herself doing stuff out there, but she doesn't really show herself doing stuff outside of the farm. But I don't know if that, like, I'm pretty sure they go on trips to places. But she definitely doesn't film very much outside. She also doesn't, like, they don't have a TV, they don't have tablets, computers, like, they don't believe in that either, which I know that's more associated with religion, but to me, that still is another aspect to it of isolation and, like, lack of exposure to things. Oh, and then also, just like I said in the chat, her parents were not independently wealthy. They owned a flower shop, and she also had 9 siblings. She ended up getting into college on a scholarship, and then she got into Juilliard because of her she basically received a scholarship to Brigham Young, and then finished her university ballet studies at Juilliard, but she didn't get a chance to actually graduate from Juilliard because she married him.
How do you feel, Sydney, about that overall? I mean, like, I know you have more in-depth perspective on it, but I don't know. Does this scream red flag, cry for help to you? Like what do you? How do you feel about that situation? Do you think that that's a universal thing, or what?
I see it kind of from 2 perspectives. One, from knowing the Mormon religion, knowing the culture, I think part of it is how she was raised, because in Mormon families, especially the highly traditional ones, that is the thing. Like, women are supposed to marry the man and have as many children as possible because they're like a blessing from the Lord. And it's the husband's responsibility to work outside of the home. And so some of these ideals were probably established throughout her whole life because her parents were also Mormon. So there is probably that element of religion affecting her life, and almost, I feel like it gives her no choice because that's what she's been led to believe about life. Where a lot of non-traditional women would be absolutely appalled, like, what do you mean my husband is in control of me and whatever? But those are actual belief systems within the Mormon church. I've had a few friends that were Mormon, and they were not allowed to wear certain clothes. They were not allowed to have technology. They were not allowed to go certain places. So I think there is very much the influence of religion. Um, but for me, the part that I think goes a little bit beyond that is how her life seems like it was taken away from her. I'm probably coming at it from a biased perspective because I was raised by parents that are like, you do what you want to do and you don't let anyone control you. Whatever you want to pursue, go for it wholeheartedly, and don't like dampen your dreams for anybody else. And so for me, like the idea of giving up my ultimate dream to marry somebody is really hard to imagine. Um, but as a stay-at-home mother, I still kind of understand that desire and that enjoyment. Even though they drive me crazy 90% of the time, I still absolutely love being a mother. Um, and so she very well, and she did say that after she has her kids, she feels the desire to have another child. So it's not like he's her at gunpoint, being like, "You're gonna have another baby. I demand it of you." But there were still aspects of it that to me are a little bit alarming in the sense that he, again, I don't know if this was just for clickbait, but the fact that he seems to be unconcerned with what she actually wants, what she loves, what she cares about. Because that's something I really respect in my husband is he knows what I care about. He tries to create space for me to do those things. He encourages me to pursue things that I care about, even if he is unhappy with it or something like that. For example, when my son was born, about 6 weeks after he was born, I went on a shark tagging trip in Florida. And that was something that I'd always wanted to do. And he was a little bit like, "You're going to leave me with this baby to do that?" But he also knew like that's something that I love. And so he supported it and he let me like go and do that. Um, and just the fact that her husband almost seems out of touch with what she loves and doesn't enable it as much as he could. I mean, they have a 28 acre property. He can't afford to build her dance studio. Like she has to convert it to a schoolroom, and yeah. So there, while I understand that there's cultural dynamics that probably pushed her into this relationship, there are certainly aspects that I'm like, he definitely could treat her better. And then also the other aspect, completely separate from the relationship, but them maintaining that business where they knowingly are selling raw milk that is making people sick. They in June 2025, they tested the milk that they were selling, and it had a high level of coliform bacteria that exceeded safety limits. But in February of 2026, they said that they stopped the sale of raw milk. But during that period, they were still selling it, and they were saying that it met the health standards. So I don't know, like I don't really believe that it's an abusive relationship. I've seen people make that claim. Um, there's no indications to me that it's that bad. But I definitely wonder if she could have done better. At least she got the money aspect, but I don't know if she got the attentive husband aspect. But then again, you know, sometimes men aren't all there in relationships. So
I feel like also she always have kids back and back because she needs somebody to talk to. That's how I feel. And to be off subject, I don't know. The first person to ever give milk from a cow, what was you doing? That's all I want to know. Like, why was you down there? That's all I want to know.
Sensational.
they're like, that looks good. Let me try some of that. Or even the eggs too. Like
What was y'all doing?
Yo, I never even thought about that, but that go. I mean, that's where them fetishes come from, probably.
Right.
Bah. Hey, I'm not messing with it, man. And like, I'm glad I didn't grow up in that type of a lifestyle and become snobbish and robotic. Like, I respect structure. I think everybody should have it. This, to me, it just sounds like he's one of them people who got structure, but he lacks that je ne sais quoi that Sydney's talking about. I could be wrong though, but I don't know. Anything y'all want to add before we close out on this subject matter?
I'm good.
Real quick, I find it hard to believe them kids don't have no TV and no tablets.
especially when you're an influencer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My word of advice for anybody watching is if somebody buys a ticket just to be next to you on an airplane, maybe think twice about marrying them.
Psycho.
Anybody?
Money don't buy happiness.
No, it don't. Stop leading with your wallet. Anyway, man, I appreciate y'all for pulling up. Brandon, I'm glad you could make it.
Yes, sir.
Rob, drive the speed limit, sir. You know where you at. Be safe out there on that road. Sydney, glad you could be here this evening. I love this discussion. To the people who was watching, I appreciate y'all for tapping in with us. Let the people know how they can reach y'all if you want to connect or stay in contact with the panel.
You can find me on Blue Sky. I'm Science Squid Poetry there. And also, now you can find my book on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. It's all collapsing together. It just got last. It's now finally available to actually buy. I was waiting a little bit because it wasn't actually in stock yet, but it is now actually officially in stock. So, yeah, you can find my work on Barnes & Noble and Amazon and other places, but those are the main ones.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Brandon, you up, man? So go ahead and plug your channel, whatever you want to keep the people up to date with.
Well, you want to just look me up, search me anyway, Brandon Deshawn. Find me on social media, Dark's Gonna Die, and that's it.
Yes, International Rob, Rolling Weave Store, or Rolling Weave on X, International Rob on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everything else, and Robert Harris on Facebook from out of Gaston, Florida, and it's Bring Life Distributions on Instagram. But Robert Harris, you can find me as Robert Harris mostly everywhere.
Gotcha.
Blessings, and congratulations on all of the work from everybody up here. Keep grinding, man. Keep doing your thing. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Peace.
Don't
Please
drink
tell
rum.
him press the button, press that button, press that
Oh,
button.
how could I forget? How I forget?
You got it last week.
We out.
All right.
The flow insane, take my spot, so the range. Shoot my shot with perfect aim. 3rd degree, that perfect flame. Ain't no sleep, that's the game. Oh, so southern, that's the slang. When they see me, that's the main. Chasing checks and fly like planes. Big old stick, I bought a cane. Flick my wrist and bought the ring. I'm so boss, we're not the same. Paid the cost and kept the chain.